some of the big things actually, was a big topic of debate today, discussion. Irrational Games is pretty much ending. Most people are saying they're shutting up shop. They're kind of changing up direction. We're not so rich. Give us a little bit of background, if you could, as best you can, about what's going on with Irrational right now. The guys who made Bioshock.
Well, pretty much, Ken Levine posted an open letter on the site, basically saying that, well, he used the words that they were changing their focus, and they laid off a whole bunch of people. Now, I interpret that to mean that the company is going out of business.
That's that PR lingo. That PR lingo.
Exactly. I mean, basically, he just says he wants to change the direction of some of the stuff that he's working on. I don't know what he's working on right now. Pretty much, that's what he is saying he wants to do. It is bad for the industry overall, because I would have never thought that this studio was going to be one that would have to go through something as drastic as this.
They had one of the best games of last year. It's very surprising.
But in my opinion, yes, it definitely is right there next to The Last of Us. I'm pretty sure there are several people that are watching this show right now. They'll say no. They completely disagree. But guess what? They ain't on the show, so I got the time, and this is me saying what I want to say about it. I'm going to say, yeah, of course. I thought Bioshock Infinite was excellent.
Damn fine game.
Yeah. But, I don't know what happened with the studio. I can only say there were a lot of things that was going on with this game prior to hearing about this, though. I mean, we knew it was delayed several times. We knew that they kept changing the release dates. They kept having situations where people who were part of the team were leaving. And then they brought on Rod Ferguson, who had worked on the Gears of War game, to finish up the development. So this game has been very publicized that they've been having a lot of development issues with the game. So I guess some of that factored into, what ended up happening today, but I'm not 100% sure. I just know it is bad to hear about this type of stuff. Anytime anybody's losing a job, I don't like to hear that type of news at all.
Yeah, that always sucks. But that also brings up a couple questions, though, and I want to kind of get you guys, both Gary and Ed, to chime in on this. What does that mean for Bioshock, just as a brand, because obviously, with 2 games and whatnot? And also, what does that mean also for Burial at Sea? Because, like other people, I got the season pass. And, I've been kind of pissed at Irrational just in general for how they've, been doing the DLC. I thought Burial at Sea Episode 1 was good, and I'm really looking forward to Episode 2. But what does this all mean for, someone like me? What is all this happening? What does that mean for me now, to what's going on with Bioshock?
I think they're gonna finish supporting that game. They probably already have Part 2 finished and all the DLC, I assume. But for Bioshock in particular, I'm not sure what that means for the future. So I mean, they said that their focus now is digital games, right? But did they specify a platform that they're focusing on?
All I know is that Kevin Levine made a statement, said that he's going to have a much more smaller focus or smaller grouping of developers alongside of him, and they're going to kind of, go back to doing things a little bit differently. Like, he did a lot of wordplay, a lot of that PR lingo to kind of, I guess, deliver bad news, but it's not actually, super bad news. You know what I mean? Because the face is that people got laid off from their jobs, which always sucks, whatnot. But he kind of put it in a sense where he said that they're kind of going back to their beginnings, like their humble beginnings where they started off with a small studio. Now, I don't know what exactly that means specifically, but it's something.
Are they still operating under Take-Two then, or are they independent?
I don't know. I don't think that was ever clarified.
Yeah, that wasn't clarified. That's a very good question, though.
I mean, that also begs the question: what happens to Bioshock now? Because isn't that under 2K games, not Irrational?
Yeah, I guess Bioshock will still live on, but under 2K or Take-Two, whatever you call them.
That's not.
I guess that will. Huh?
That's not.
I guess that will live on. That will live on under them, and perhaps a new developer will take over, which I'm sure
that'd be cool.
People don't want that though. People want Ken Levine to be the one to kind of, take the lead on that project.
It'd be like the same thing like with Gears of War, though. It's like when Cliffy B left at that point. Everybody had the same, I guess, reaction to, for Gears of War at that point.
Yeah, I mean, but you saw what happened with Bioshock 2. Nobody liked that game, and that's because, Ken Levine wasn't behind it.
I like that game, you asshole. And
You're
He's like a one dude.
You're a
A
minority.
very minuscule minority.
No, check this out. Bioshock 2 had pretty good reviews. The only thing is, I mean, look what you put it up against. Bioshock 1, which is like, if not the best game of last generation, one of in the top
One of the
five.
one of the best FPSs out there.
Yeah, and so I mean, it definitely Bioshock 2 definitely had its work cut out for it. But I think, to answer your question of what does it mean for Bioshock, I think it's great news. I mean, let's be honest, man. I mean, I love fucking Ken Levine and the games that he produced with Bioshock 1 and Bioshock Infinite. I think those are great games, and probably in my top 10 now because I love those fucking games. There's really no other better games than those. But man, like, does he know how to fucking take his time doing that game? Because the more Bioshock we get, the better, in my opinion. And
you know what also that means too. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know what also that means? Forget about Bioshock on Vita. Remember that they were talking about putting a Bioshock game on PlayStation Vita for like the longest time?
Right.
I think you can put that idea to bed now at this point. Unless whoever takes over Bioshock at this point after Irrational Games decides maybe to go forward with that and maybe go into a different direction than what they initially had, or whatever change of plans they're going to do with Bioshock at this point. But it's looking kind of grim for that.
Yeah, and I thought about that when this news came out. I'm pretty sure that game wasn't. I'm pretty sure that game was probably just a port or something, some type of port.
Of Infinite?
Using old tools they had or whatever resources. But I mean, as far as just Bioshock, just the series going on, I think there's first party development people, a studio who's capable of making a decent game over at 2K. And I mean, as long as they're working with a story and the world that's already built for them, I think they're in good hands. They have something to work with already. As far as Irrational going on and Ken Levine going on, if Ken Levine does not have $50 million budget to make whatever he wants, then I don't give a fuck about. Because in my opinion, Ken Levine is like one of those. He might not be as recognized as like Kojima or Miyamoto, but I think he's fucking in that group, in that core group of people, in my opinion.
Yeah.
His ideas are just so out of this world, and if he's thinking of bringing those high concept ideas to digital gaming, it's not something I personally want. I want him to do it right. I want him to do it grand. That's what I want out of Ken Levine.
I'd just like to add one thing. I do believe that he can definitely go on Kickstarter. He will get a hell of a lot of money off of there to do.
Oh hell yeah! He can. A lot of those like game developers that every time they release a AAA title, they end up doing something similar to that. Like at least going on Kickstarter to fund like a personal project, and they always get enough funds to do what they want to do because they have that backing.